Okay guys, it's Sage. This video is for Vulcan Android. She had some questions about the actress Alyson Hannigan, who has some beautiful hair. And her hair actually is pretty versatile, but without the proper knowledge of hair, it's hard to get the looks that she has. So I'm just here to help her out and give you a video to look at and see if you think you can do these things at home on your own. Maybe it'll help you out and just make things a little bit easier when styling your hair. Alright, here we go. Okay guys, the first thing that you need to do is going to be section the hair. Now the cleaner the sections, the better the hair in the end, okay? The first thing we're going to do is start with a vertical parting, going from the top of the head all the way to the bottom. I'm not going to go through this whole process. I'm actually going to finish out just the framing so that we can get to the waving, but I do want to go through all of this with you so that you can kind of see how to get the best look in the end. So the first thing I'm going to do is part her in the middle, and then I'm going to start by taking 3 sections, okay? So my first section is going to be right at the base of the ear. And I would clip that. Okay, now I want to show you what tool I'm using because I feel like this tool is a little bit of a cheat, but as many heads of hair as I do a day, I feel like it makes things a lot easier, and it's going to make things easier on you at home instead of having to use a regular flat iron. So let's cut to that. Okay, so the tool I'm going to be using today, like I said, is a little bit of a cheat. I really love this tool. This one is a Gilbert Nano Ceramic Silver. Let me turn it the right way. Mine is white, and I know that it comes in a shade of different colors. Anyway, this is actually from the parent company Conair. They make, in my opinion, the best products under the name Babyliss Pro. They make this same product. However, mine is ceramic, theirs is tourmaline, which is a crystal coating, which actually is better for your hair than the ceramic. It's just a newer technology for your hair. This one is called a wave styler. The Babyliss Pro is called a C styler. And some companies call it a tong. So you can search the web and find those tools. I'll show you what's different about it than a regular flat iron. When you open it, you can see that the blades are curved. And that's what allows us to get that round brush look or that curl, but still be able to flat iron with it because it's not so tight of a curve to that plate that I can't get a flat look to the hair if I wanted to flat iron. So let's cut to the hair and start working with this tool. Okay, so we've already pre-sectioned the hair. We're going to start styling. Now, like we said, we need a heat protectant. When it comes to heat protectants, people want to overuse heat protectants and the hair becomes oily and heavy and clumpy. When you spray this in the hair, it's going to evenly distribute, so don't worry about that. But you do want to use very little. So we're literally going to mist at the actual part line and then at the ends. Okay, that should protect us. We don't need any more. Anything other than that is going to be overuse, and we risk going oily with the hair. Now, the first thing to keep in mind, since we're styling and we've parted our hair in the middle, one thing I do to keep from that part staying in the hair with the movement during the day is my first section, I'm going to split this into 3. Okay, so right over that part line, I'm going to create my first section that I'm going to work with. Now, always flat iron or style with a comb because that allows me to get a cleaner look. So I'm going to take the tight teeth of my comb, which is going to give me more control and a smoother look. And I'm going to comb through first and make sure I have no snags. Then, the next thing I'm going to do is hold the hair in the comb and place my tool in the hair. Now, what's important to keep in your mind is that it's about the movement of the flat iron that's going to give us that finished look that you want. So, as I place this in the hair, I'm going to come down to the mid shaft or the middle of the hair. And then I'm going to start rotating it so that the top of my curved flat iron faces the floor. And that's what's going to give us that natural curve under for the framing. So let's start. We're going to come in, place it in, start flat ironing, and then start turning to the floor. Okay. You may have to do this 1 to 2 times because you are steaming that product into the hair, and that's what's locking that shape in. But you can see from the side when I turn the hair how you're starting to get that natural movement in the hair. Okay? Don't be worried about getting too much shape in the hair because every shape is going to fall a little bit. So you want a little bit too much shape so that as it falls you get a little bit smoother of a look. If you put too little shape in the hair, it's all going to fall out and then you're not going to have the look you want. It's just going to look flat ironed. Keep in mind that while you're doing this, you may end up with a slight crease in the hair, but that's okay because that's underneath everything that you're doing. Don't worry about that. These are going to be corner cutters that are going to save you time in the end, okay? When we really need to focus on a crease is going to be close to the actual part that we wear every day. Taking my outside section now, combing it through, placing my flat iron halfway through, turning down to the floor and pulling out. And there's that natural curvature. Okay? Going to the other side. Halfway through, turning it to face the floor and slowly down through the ends, natural curvature. Now I'm going to let that cool for just a few seconds. And I'm going to move my hands through it and just shatter it out. And you can see that it's got that natural curvature at the bottom of it. Okay? What I'm going to do now is work up all the way through the head shape, and then I'm going to show you the facial framing and actually show you step by step how to do that. Okay, so I've done the tong flat iron all the way up the head shape just to make it hug so that we get that natural framing style, okay? We are going to do the actual framing of the face last. What I've done is I've worked up to the part that Viola, my mannequin, wears, and I've taken and left out about a ½ inch to 1 inch on either side of that part. And what that's going to do is really allow me to cover up any creases that we had from styling before, because those creases are a time saver for us, and this last section right around the part allows us to cover all that up and save time in the morning. So what we're going to do now is style this last section. So I'm going to let it down. You're going to spray lightly at the root, not much. 1 spray. Come through the ends on each side, and then you want to comb this section smooth. I'm going to leave the front part out just to make it easier on myself, and then the back part. So I have 3 sections now, just like we had in the back. Now what I do here, because I feel like if you carry your part too far back, you have that part right at the back of your head and it's just not flattering. So what I do is this last section, I kind of turn it a bit using the comb, and I'm going to place the very edge of my flat iron at the part line and then work it out in a rounded shape. Then I'm going to move to that middle section. Again, placing the edge of the flat iron right on the part and working out, turning that wrist the whole time to get that rounded shape. This way we're not getting a crease anywhere in the hair shaft, and we're getting that good, clean, polished look on the outside, nice and neat. The last thing I'm going to do is take this front section, pull it slightly forward, place the edge of the flat iron right at the part, and work it down on an angle and round it. A little bit too much shape, but when I brush it out, you can see we're starting to frame that face. Okay, before we move to the other side, we're going to take just right above the middle of the ear, part it because we've already flat ironed all this, pull all of this somewhat forward, okay? Going in from the top, place my flat iron, and I just place the actual heated plate into the hair and then slowly clamp this on because we're working the mid shaft now and we don't want to get a crease because this is our polished outside look. So placing that up into the hair, slowly closing that down as I'm coming down, and I'm working a small curl into the hair. It may take a couple of times to get that look that you want. I dropped my comb, sorry. Plate into the hair, slowly closing and curling that out. And that's going to give us that little bit of facial framing that we want. Now we're going to move to the other side. Again, 3 sections. Starting with the back, about an inch. I'm going to comb it clean. And I'm going to work on an angle, up and round, up and round, and let that fall. I'm going to take another about 1.5 inches this time in the middle, dropping the front out. From the part, placing that flat iron on the part, and working out while rounding with my wrist. Okay? And the nice thing about this is we have that curved plate, so it does half of the work for us. Okay? Last section, we're going to pull it over straight up, edge of the flat iron on the part so we don't get a crease, and curving it up. Okay, we let it fall. Now to touch it up, right over the middle of the ear, comb all of this forward. We're going to pull that blade, heated blade, up underneath, slowly close as we bring it down, and just turn that flat iron up a little bit as we pull it through. Again, you may have to repeat this because it will be a pretty thick section. It may take a little bit extra heat, but that heat protectant is still working. You don't have to worry about it. Working through the ends. Okay, and then I can see, okay, I'm not happy with the evenness of my framing, so I'm going to come back and touch up this side. And I can see that what I'm not happy with is close to the ends, so I go about midway down, blade up to the hair, and then slowly close as I bring it down. Blade in, slowly close, and bring it down. And you've got that nice facial framing like Alyson Hannigan, without the round brush, without any of the extras. Now I will show you, for those of you at home that don't have the time or the money to run out and buy one of these flat irons, with a regular flat iron, most of you know this from all the YouTube videos, you can take a regular flat iron. This is a TG Pro. It's one of the best that I've ever used. You can go in any section that you want, start with the flat iron, and as you bring it out, slowly rotate that flat iron just like the C-styler or wave styler. The problem with the flat iron is it's very easy to get a curl. So you're going to end up with a tighter curl, and you may have to play with it a lot to learn how your flat iron works with your hair to do this style. The last thing you're going to do is finish up with a product for smoothing. I am going to do another style on this mannequin, so I'm not going to use the product, but I will show you the product. Okay, so we're going to actually skip this step. In reality, I'm going to show you how it works, just because I don't want to have to shampoo a mannequin before doing another Alyson Hannigan here. Anyway, the product that we're going to be using is a smoother. My favorite smoother is actually TG Bedhead After the Party. It has a little bit of shimmer in it. It's very lightweight. It lasts forever. You use very little. However, I have found something that is a Mimic product, and it works just as well. And I use it every day in the salon, and I love it. And it's actually by Regis, and it's called Satin Smooth. And it comes in a container like this. This is the product. Little pump on top. You use a pea-sized amount. You pump that pea-sized amount into your hands. Then what you're going to do is distribute through your hands. Use your fingers to go through the base of the hair. Then redistribute mid-shaft of the hair. Then the last thing you're going to do, because you barely have anything on your hands, is redistribute one last time. Go through the framing of your hair. This is going to create the smooth look that hugs the face with a little bit of separation, but not too much. And then, last thing before you leave is smooth again. Put it right at that part line and just lightly glide your hands over the hair. That's going to smooth away any flyaways and give it a really polished look. Now let's go back to the mannequin and see the finished look. Okay guys, so this is the smooth look for Alyson Hannigan. Now her hair is a little bit shorter usually when she wears this style, but you can see that this actually works for longer hairstyles too. It just adds a little bit of natural movement. It doesn't look like you've actually spent hours on your hair. It's just for more of that natural look that frames the face and gives you a little bit of oomph, okay? So as you can see, we've got that nice curved in facial framing, and then in the back you can see it's just a nice natural curve to that hair shape. And you can see that natural shape in there. So now, let's move on to the loose waves quick style, okay? Okay, so this is going to be the wavy look for Alyson Hannigan. It's just a nice, loose, tubular curl that is actually a larger diameter curl. It's much like the beach wave that you're seeing in a lot of the photo shoots and runways these days. We're actually going to be using the same tong style styler and the same products that we used on the previous style. So first we're going to start sectioning. The same sections that we used for the previous style are going to be used in this style. So we're going to start with that same vertical parting. Down the middle. Oops. First parting ends at the base of the ear. Okay. Clip the rest of the hair up and out of the way. Base of the ear, up and out of the way. Now depending on the thickness of your hair, you may want to go up to the middle of the ear to just at the top of the ear with this first section. Just depends on how thick your hair. If your hair is really thick, you want to stay at the base of the ear. If it happens to be a thinner texture and you have a lot of hair, you still want to stay at the base of the ear. If you have a very thin texture and not very much density, then go ahead and move up to the top of the ear, okay? So you have a little bit of a range there. Again, we're going to be working in sections through this bottom section. The first thing that you would do is spray our cashmere spray, our heat protectant, through the hair, okay? Just lightly. Now, this is where we're going to take just about 1 inch sections, okay? We're always going to curl away from the face for this style. I'm going to brush it smooth or comb it smooth. I'm going to take my tong styler And what I'm going to do is actually flip the mannequin around so that you can see me do this. It's just a little bit easier for you guys. Okay, so now that I'm on the side so that you can see, it's just like you're going to curl with a flat iron. But since we have that curve in the plate, we're able to get a looser curl. Move in, and I'm just going to turn this in the hair, pulling the ends of the hair and slowly moving to the outside. Okay? We get a nice tubular curl. Now, I'm going to go through. At the base section, you're just going to end up with about 4 curls. Now, I do realize on your own head that this is going to be a little bit harder than I make it look because I am working on a mannequin. Now again, we do want to work away from the face. So now, we're going to switch our direction and we're going to go, excuse me, away from the face as we do this. Working slowly out and down to the ends of the hair, and we get that nice tubular curl. I'm going to go ahead and split this section in half just because we have so much hair. You may have to do more curls depending on the thickness of your hair. Again, away from the face, wrapping around the flat iron and turning it as I come down. Always finishing through the end of the strand and letting the hair take its own shape. Away from the face. And letting the hair just kind of take its own shape. Now I'm going to do this all the way up the mannequin, but where I'm going to change this up a little bit, let me show you the side of the mannequin. I'm going to go ahead and do my second section in through here, but then in the third section where the part is, I want to cut that part off about halfway through the top of the head so that we don't have that part cutting all the way through our curls. So what we're going to do is actually that last section will be cut in half. So let me go ahead and work through the rest of the mannequin and then I'll cut back to the top section with you guys. Okay guys, so now we're on the third section of this style. First thing I'm going to do is let those sections down, comb them out a little bit. Just pull them slightly forward so that I can see what I'm working with. This also helps with you at home when you're working in the mirror because you know that you don't have all that hair just falling down over those curls and getting in the way. Now of course you have to do a lot of this by feel, but I'm going to turn her around and show you how to start this back section. Now since we don't want that part going all the way back, we've got to do something to break up this section right in here. So the first thing I do is just take a bit of this on each side of that part that we've got going. Okay? And we're going to work in sections crossing the head shape. Now this section, to break up, we're going to pull all the way up on the hair so that it's standing straight up. Just like we did before, because we're polishing out at the top, we're going to place the edge of the flat iron right on the part, and from there we're going to curl out. Working slowly to the ends of the hair shaft. Okay? And that's going to give us that nice curl that covers that part. Now, we're going to go a little bit from that side. These will just be a little bit smaller curls, just to break up some of that movement. All of it's going to get broken up in the end, so don't worry about these two being small, these next two. Again, right at the part line, away from the face. Nice slow movement, turning that iron as we go down, and if you lift it a little, there's our curl. One more on this side. Small section, just as if we made a straight part across there. Pull it. We're going to go right on the part with the edge of the flat iron. Roll it out and away from the face. Now I know at this point we have the beginnings of what looks like prom or wedding here. Be patient, don't judge me yet. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, again, right on that part line, we're going to take about 1 inch on each side and 1 inch down the part. Okay, one side. Now the other side. We're going to do one more of those barrel rolls so that we cover up this part, so that we don't have such a deep part and our hair looks a little bit more full with the end result. So holding the hair straight up and down, placing the edge of the flat iron on the part, rotating and working out smoothly for that curl. Now this is also going to give us a little bit of a round brushed effect at that root, so that we have some volume, but also we're covering up that part. Let me turn the mannequin around so that you can see the effect that we get. So you can see there's some lift in that hair. Okay, we want to leave it to cool in the hair so that we have that lift, because we're going to collapse everything. So a little bit of lift is going to go into barely any lift, just some natural movement. Again, we're going to work below that and finish out that same section, brushing smooth away from the face. Finishing that curl. Moving to the other side, right below where we just did the barrel curl. Comb it out, placing it so that we're moving away from the face and curling. Now, we've got all this hair left at the front. I'm going to do one more thin, just off of the part, one thin curl through this whole section. Okay, I'm going to bring it up so I can get close to the part, and I'm going to work away from the face. Okay, so now we're getting that natural fall look from our part, but we've canceled our part out so that we don't go all the way back. Again, We have all this hair. One thin strip. This is literally about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of that section of hair. Okay. We're going to comb it out smooth. Start right at the part and away from the face. Okay, now to finish up, what we want to do is pull this weight away from the face so that we have a nice, beautiful, curly look, but not a bunch of weight right around our face. We don't want a facial frame. The curl will do that for us. So this last section, we're actually going to comb up, and we're going to curl all of this back on an angle. So we're going to go right here at the framing of the face. We're going to push in with the hot plate, so forward, and we're going to slowly close as we curl back, okay? Again, since we're doing facial framing, the facial framing area, I should say, it may take a couple of times before you get that curl that you really like. Okay? We are going to loosen this curl up, so keep in mind it's not going to be that tight. Last section in the front, a little bit forward. We're going away from the face, so the hot plate on the top, the edge of the curved plate right on the hairline, and pull it up and start to really curve that out for that curl. Okay? So you get that nice natural framing. Okay, we're not going to talk about hairspray because there are just too many hairsprays and I love all of them. So what you're going to need is going to be a flexible hold hairspray. And you're going to lightly spray this style. And when I say lightly, I mean lightly. This is a pump atomizer. It's not going to be aerosol. We just want, and you can pick up these curls in the back and just lightly hold them up and spray them. Okay. This hairspray is such a light hold that I have to use a little bit more than you would when you're spraying this style. You just want to polish it, okay, with your hairspray. Then, from this point, we still have that height, we still have the definite curls. What you're going to do is go in with a re-wetting agent, and let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so the next to last step is going to be a reactivator or a re-wetting agent. Now my favorite is TG's Bedhead Spoil Me. It's going to add moisture back into the hair and allow you to restyle if you have hairspray in your hair. But what we're going to use it for is to add weight and moisture to the hair so that we can get a natural wavy look out of the style that we've just put into the hair. Now, one thing that I use is another Mimic product. It's called Reactivate, and it's by Regis. Comes in an aerosol can. And what we're going to do is generously apply this to the hair so that it re-wets, and then we can rake our fingers through the hair and break up that curl a little bit so that as it dries, we can get a really loose beach wavy look. The last thing you're going to do after you feel like you've got your hair the way you want it, finish up with a finishing spray, okay? Just any light hold hairspray. So let's get to it. Okay, so here we are with our finished style. Now, right now, I'm sure you're feeling like, okay, this is prom hair or wedding hair. But this is where we transform it into that everyday kind of beach wavy look. And we're going to do that with the reactivator that I just talked about. I'm just going to spray it generously throughout the hair, re-wetting those curls and any of that hairspray that I've already put in the hair. Okay, your hair is going to feel pretty wet at this point. Go ahead and get it on the part line. That's fine, because for this beach wavy, just naturally tousled look, you want a little bit of smoothing on that part line, and you really want the curl to be further down the ends of the hair shaft. Okay, once I feel like I have enough product in the hair and my hair feels damp, then you can just take your hands down the hair and shake it out. Okay, as you shake it out, you might pick up some of these sections, just re-twirl them. That's going to give that separation and a little bit of that beach wavy curl back into it. What this is doing as it's drying is it's allowing that curl to loosen up, but also just giving you more of a natural look and reactivating that hairspray so that then it holds. Now, just for a little extra hold, one thing I'm going to do, make sure you get your framing back out of your face. Okay, I am separating again. One thing I'm going to do though is I am going to go in and finish off with some finishing spray again in the end. Now this style does take a bit of work, but once you get used to it, you can drop the sectioning and just throw those curls in the hair real quick, spray them with the reactivator, and then you can go back and throw some hairspray in, and you're ready to go for an evening with the beach waves. Let me just finish her out. I'm going to finish her with some finishing spray, and then I'm going to let you see the finished product. Okay guys, so you saw where I took those tight curls, used the reactivator, it added moisture to the hair, just like shampooing your hair in the shower, takes out any style that you put into it. This loosens up the style that we put into it earlier. This is the finished look. One thing that I typically do in the salon for a little bit more polished look, I like to take the front framing area, twist it slightly, and then just pin it up with a bobby pin underneath. It just gives it a little bit more polish to this look. But you can just leave it. Just make sure you really work with that front section, recurl it. But you can see it's just that nice, loose, beach wavy look that everybody's going after. And you were able to do it at home for cheap with your flat iron, your C-styler, and just some products that you can pick up at the salon. And the more you work at it, the quicker it'll get and the easier it'll get. I hope this helped.